Get ready with me after I just had my baby in the hospital. So we just had our third little baby, our third girl. She is the sweetest thing and we are obsessed with her. This was my first time doing an unmedicated birth. It was my plan to do one. It was a crazy experience. Oh my goodness. My whole labor start to finish was 5 hours, like from my first contraction until when she was born. And I really do feel like it was just the last hour that was super, super hard and intense. So it was the night of the election results, actually, and I never stay up to find out the election results. I always just give it to God and go to bed and find out when I wake up in the morning. But this time we were up. I was in labor, so we followed along. We laid down to go to sleep at 9:30 p.m. and I had been having Braxton Hicks contractions like crazy for months, but I had this contraction that definitely felt different. And I told my husband, I just had a contraction that was kind of different, and if I keep having them like this, I'm gonna think that I am in labor. And I kept having contractions like that. At first they were just like 20 minutes apart, and I was trying to just kind of rest and get some sleep in between them. I wasn't able to go to sleep because I was just like feeling all excited and stuff. At first, like, they weren't, super intense or anything, but they definitely were more intense than Braxton Hicks, distinct from those, but manageable for sure. They started getting closer together. After a couple of hours, they were like 7 to 8 minutes apart. He called my doula, let her know what was going on so that she could kind of be ready to go to the hospital in a little bit whenever they got closer together. We called my in-laws who were coming to watch our other two little girls, decided to get up and take a shower. Pretty soon they were 4 minutes apart and they were getting more intense. In the shower, that was amazing. Like, I loved laboring in the shower. I had done lots of research and preparation on ways to manage with the contractions. So I was doing some breathing techniques, some relaxation. I would just kind of like limply like sway and kind of like do low moans if I needed to. We just kind of were like casually like getting our stuff ready to go to the hospital. And then all of a sudden they were like 2 or 3 minutes apart and they were getting more and more intense. At this point, my husband, he's out on the couch talking about the election to my in-laws, and I go out there, I'm like, we need to go. My contractions are like 2 or 3 minutes apart and they're getting intense. And my mother-in-law was like, yeah, you guys need to leave. We like gathered up our last final things. I walked out to the kitchen and I ended up having a contraction, and it was like much stronger than the other ones that I'd had previously, and I had it right there in front of my in-laws, and I felt bad. I was like, I must be scaring them, because it lasted like 2 minutes long and I was really vocalizing through it because it was really intense, but like I was still doing the breathing and everything. Like, I was fine, but it was an intense one. And later my mother-in-law told me that she was like, oh crap, I don't know if they're gonna make it to the hospital. Got in the car and things were really picking up. I was still just breathing through them, but like those contractions that you have when you're like in transition in the car are rough because you can't move around as much, can't get in as comfortable of a position, like you're just, oh man. So we got to the hospital and my husband dropped me off at the doors and went to go park. Once we got to the hospital, that's when things just, like, I just had to surrender to what was happening. The contractions, there really weren't any breaks in between them at that point. They were just one on top of another, and they were so intense. Doing everything I can to hold on to just like breathing through them, relaxing through them. At home, when I had been contracting, I felt like a rock star. Like, I felt like I was handling it. I did not feel like a rock star anymore so much. They got me into a room. At this point, it's like kind of a blur. I just was, yeah, it was intense. They check me. I'm at 10 centimeters right then from when we arrived at the hospital. My doula gets there shortly after, and I am so grateful for her. She was so great. I don't know how I would have gotten through it without her. She did counter pressure, she was doing massage, she was encouraging me, just like guiding me. She got me through that last little bit before baby was born, and I was so grateful. So things happened really quick. From when we arrived at the hospital till when she was born was about 45 minutes. And like I mentioned, I was at 10 centimeters when we arrived, so I'm really grateful that I had already been planning on a natural birth, because I don't think I would have had the choice otherwise. Wow, I did not mean to do that much of a smoky eye, but here we are. Full glam always, even after giving birth. My midwife was coming from another hospital nearby, and she arrived about 8 minutes before baby was born. So I was on all fours, kind of propped up on this big U-shaped pillowy thing that they had. I was vocalizing so much. Like, I have never made sounds like the sounds that I made. And it was like I couldn't even help it. I knew not to scream, like to try to keep the sounds low, because that helps you. I've never experienced anything that physically intense. There was nothing else that I could do besides just surrender to what was happening and just allow my body to do what it was doing. This is totally TMI, but all of a sudden I just felt like I needed to poop. I said that to my doula, and she said, "That's great. That is the sensation, that baby is right there. Baby's ready to come out. So whenever you think it feels good to push, then you can." I tried starting to push because I was like, I want to be done with this so bad, and I feel like I need to push. I want to get her out. And so I did, and oh my goodness, like, I've heard people say, oh, the pushing is not the bad part at all. Like, pushing feels great. Pushing is a relief. The pushing was intense. I seriously, like, I felt like I tore a ton, but I didn't tear, which was amazing, but I felt like I must have. After a few pushes, she was out, and I just like collapsed and started weeping. I just felt so overcome with emotion that she was here and that I was done, and like, just, oh my goodness, so many emotions. So I just collapsed and started weeping. It was amazing. Oh my goodness, like, I can't even describe it. It was such a cool experience. I am not gonna lie to you, I've never been through something that physically difficult, but it was so short. It really was just an hour of my life that I had to just surrender, and then she was here. If we have more children, I honestly don't know if I'll do it again. Like, I think I probably would, but also I love epidurals too, and like, all ways that babies come into the world is amazing. And she is so precious. Oh my goodness. I will tell you, so this is our third child. Every time I'm proved that a mother's love is endless, and that you just love your children so equally but so uniquely. It's seriously wild.